Welcome to our program entitled Integration of Technology in Teacher Education Programs. So now you know that in the process of teaching and learning, as was in the past in traditional classrooms, the teacher would come, deliver a lecture, and at the most use the blackboard and the chalk as teaching aids, or maybe a few maps, charts, things like that would be used as teaching aids. But there has been a change in this. Rather, we should say that there has been a radical change in this process, and nowadays we know that technology is no longer being used merely as teaching aids, but how technology is getting integrated into the process of teaching and learning. And we also know that a teacher has to get ready for such a change in the environment, and a teacher has to teach not merely by using technology but by integrating it. And for this it is required that when the professional training of teachers are there, when they are imparted with such training, they themselves are made to undergo a program in which technology has been integrated. So welcome our expert Dr. N.K. Das, and he would tell us about the different aspects that are related to this topic, that is how technology is to be integrated, what are the benefits, etc. So let us welcome first of all Dr. N.K. Das.
Thank you, Dr. Sutapa. As you have rightly said that information and communication technology is growingly used in classroom instructional processes, not only in classroom instructional processes but in distance learning context. So the question is that in what way this ICT or information communication technology can be integrated in teacher education program and different kinds of teaching learning situations. So this is the big question that perhaps one has to address and one has to find out the solution. So let us look at the importance of ICT. ICT has really made a great revolution in the field of teaching learning, in the field of education, and also in several fields. But our discussion is with regard to teaching learning process or teacher education. So it has wider access. And most important consideration with ICT that when it is used on a mass scale and it lowers the cost, and you must be knowing about the context of distance education. So ICT is really a beneficial element in distance education context because it when it is used in distance learning to cater to the educational needs of millions of students. So automatically the per unit cost for education comes down. So it has that advantage. Then ICT also helps in realizing the objective of instruction, whether it is in face-to-face or distance learning. And it has this unique feature of penetrating into the deep rural area, means that even in the remotest part of the country, in tribal areas, in the places where it's very difficult to really approach learners, so ICT can be a good means of providing knowledge and information. And that perhaps you know very well with our television, then all types of satellite technology like teleconferencing, radio technology, then computer technology. All these technologies, they can reach people anywhere in this world. So having known the potentiality of ICT, let us think about how they can this can be utilized or made use of in teaching learning process. But before that, let us understand the very paradigm of teaching learning process as is defined nowadays. Gone were the days when teacher was considered that the sole disseminator of information. Everybody was looking forward to teacher in the classroom context, and that he is there to provide information of all kind. But now he is not the sole source of information, and perhaps that's why we say that information technology, that the entire this computer or ICT, it is the storehouse of information, and one has to really unfold, discover that storehouse and find out information for oneself. So if that is the assumption, let us think about the position of a teacher. Then in that case, he is not the sole source of information, but his role is a facilitator. He facilitates learner in his instructional or teaching learning process. So that way he can be a strategist, and he has to manage, though he is not a disseminator of information, but he has to manage information. He has to locate where the information is there. He has to bring in and present it to the students. Sometimes he has to design the information for the students, and ultimately the student is there to learn from technology. So that way the role of the teacher has substantially changed due to the advent of technology in the field of education. So then the question is, when we are accepting or welcoming ICT in teaching the process, then the teacher has to be adequately equipped with sufficient background of teacher training to handle how this technology can be utilized in teaching the process. Then he has to also get prepared for such a scenario which is emerging fast. So now this is the role of ICT, and vis-a-vis the role of the teacher in higher education or any level of education, whether it is a primary teacher or elementary teacher or secondary teacher or higher education teacher. He has to be well equipped with the knowledge of the use of technology. This is the very important aspect. Now once he is well aware of the use of technology, perhaps he will be in a position to integrate in a teaching learning process. Now let us look at the place of ICT as existing in teacher education situation or in our classroom instruction situation. So let me request Dr. Sutapa that what is the position of ICT that perhaps we face in our school or college education.
Well, Dr. Das, you have very rightly pointed out that the role of the teacher is changing in today's educational scenario. Initially, the teacher used to be just the disseminator of information. The teacher would be considered to be the sole bastion of all knowledge, all information. And whenever a child had a query or a doubt, the first thing that would come to him was to run to the teacher for the information. But now things are changing. Now you see that for a teacher it's not humanly possible to cope up with knowledge explosion, the rapidly expanding base of knowledge. To keep pace with that, it's not possible for a human being, for a teacher. So that is the reason why a teacher is no longer the sole disseminator of information, but rather he or she is switching over to a new role. That is, he or she becomes a manager of learning, facilitator of learning, and he is even called a learning strategist who prepares a strategy whereby with the help of information and communication technology, the child would be able to engage in self-learning. And we may say that the term broker is not a very respectable one, but nevertheless this term is also being used. That is, the teacher has to have certain qualities of a broker. That is, he has to locate the information. The sources of information are to be sought out, and after that for that it again requires survey. So surveying, locating, and then evaluating the information. That is, evaluating, rather I should say, the sources of information which would be better suited for the children of a particular age group or of a particular background. So we say that the teacher is now having a new set of responsibilities. Now coming to the question, that is, what is the place that is accorded to ICT in the present teacher education programs? Now we see that the would-be teachers, if you are a would-be teacher or anyone for that matter, would have to get ready, would have to be equipped with certain skills that would help you in integrating technology. Now you see that integrating technology is a lot different, there is a lot of difference between integrating technology, using technology, and of course with knowing about technology. For instance, a person may be able to write an essay on computer assisted instruction, may be able to write several paragraphs on computer based education, but may not have used computer assisted instructions himself or herself, either for learning or for teaching. So you see that knowing about a particular thing and using it during the teacher education program, that is the period when the teacher, the would-be teacher gets ready for the classrooms. So you see that this is what is meant by integration of technology, that instead of just learning or knowing about particular technology, it is better to use it himself or herself so as to know about it in a better manner. And then of course we know that in our teacher education programs also there are certain components that teach about educational technology, but nevertheless they occupy a peripheral position. They are at the periphery of the curriculum. So we see that they are isolated components, they are not integrated with the other components of the curriculum. Say for instance, we may be having philosophy of education, psychology, different courses are there, and again we may be having a topic or a few topics or a course on educational technology, but that needs to be linked with the other courses. For instance, psychology could be studied or educational management could be done through the help of ICT. So for these things the teachers will have to gear up. So instead of maintaining technology or information communication technology as a peripheral component in the teacher education program, there is a need now to integrate it within the program itself, so that the teachers in their turn, when they go to the classrooms to teach, they do not use them merely as teaching aids, but through them, that is by integrating them, they can teach their students.
That's perfectly okay that when we talk of the present position of ICT in teacher education program, perhaps ICT is taught as a subject area in educational technology, and the knowledge gained is not fruitfully integrated in teaching learning process. The question is that one educational technology course or any course on ICT, if it is there at all in a teacher education program, it should not remain as a knowledge base in educational technology or ICT, but it must translate itself as a part of teacher training program, where the trainee teacher is in position to really develops computer assisted instruction package and implement in his day-to-day teaching. Then the second question is related to the knowledge base in ICT. It should also have integration with other subject areas in teacher education program. When a trainee teacher learns about say educational psychology or any other set of educational management, philosophy or curriculum or guidance and counseling, different areas, different subject areas in teacher training, educational technology should also help the learner in learning these subject areas. So that is the basic question that is raised here, and perhaps that should be done. As a result, we can fruitfully integrate ICT in teacher training program. Then we come to the reforming of education. When we talk about the use of ICT, perhaps we are thinking of reforming education, bringing in some change in the very concept of the educational process and the approach, and which was earlier existing. How we can really switch over from the existing approach to a different constructive approach, where ICT can be of great help to the training teacher. If we look at the present scenario, generally it is a more teacher centric approach, where the teacher, as we have discussed earlier, teacher is the sole depositor of knowledge. So, for example, he is perhaps the sole container of knowledge, and he has to distribute, he has to pass on the knowledge from him to the learners or teacher, training teacher. There is no scope on the part of the training teacher to really create his or her own knowledge, and so this is a platform. ICT provides a platform where the training teacher can create, generate knowledge, share knowledge among themselves. For example, if we take the example of computer technology, is computer conferencing, where the email, all this latest or a chat that we have in computer technology, computer conferencing. There the learner, they can connect to each other and they can generate knowledge for themselves. They can collaborate among themselves. Of course, sometimes the teacher can mediate this type of exercises, but the learners, if they are left to themselves, they can really come out with a fantastic knowledge structure, knowledge base. So this is the challenge before teacher training program, and ICT will play a great role. So basic assumptions of learning, that learning perhaps helps in change, helps in change of behavior. So that can take place with the help of ICT. So then in that case, it will take a collaborative, interactive mode where everybody using ICT, they can really collaborate and interact and have independent way of learning. So this is basically with regard to reforming education, but you have to say something about this reforming education.
Yes, here I would like to add something to what you have already said. Now, when we talk about the basic assumptions of learning, Dr. Das has very rightly said that the basic assumptions of learning has to change. So we say that what are the new assumptions of learning and what were the learning or the assumptions of learning earlier. For instance, earlier the teacher would have a view that this student has or this learner has some particular deficiency and that needs to be filled up. Now you see that, for instance, we would think that the knowledge regarding this particular aspect is not there, and so I as a teacher would fill it up, would fill up the deficiency or would bridge the shortcoming. But now the modern view says, why the modern view? Even in last century, Madam Montessori had very rightly pointed out that children are not to be treated as empty containers that need just filling up. So we try to fill them up with information and shut it, and after that they go to the examination centers and there they again try to empty down the content. So this assumption has to change, that there is some deficiency and for that filling up is required. Learning has to be considered as a natural process. It is an independent process, but at the same time it is also an interactive process, and collaboration definitely facilitates learning. So while we say that there are two basic things here, while we say that the learner has to learn independently, that is at his own pace, at his, and today also there is the facility for learning at from a place of his or her choice. So we say that these things enhance the independence of the learner. What type of learning style he or she is going to adapt, when he is going to learn, from where he is going to learn. So these things are decided by the learner himself. And again, this does not translate into the fact that this is an isolated attempt. Learning is best when it is an interactive and collaborative process. For instance, whatever information the learner collects and whatever his inferences are, that he or she can exchange with his peers, then with his teachers, and also have their views and thus enrich learning. So there are two simultaneous things, while learning is independent and at the same time it is also a collaborative effort.
Now how this technology facilitates this idea, perhaps as I have said that computer technologies, computer conferencing really helps in collaborative learning. Apart from that, even independent learning, our self-learning concept, self-learning material is a bright example of how learning can be of independent nature. So we are coming from a paradigm where learning was dependent, teacher centric, and now we are coming to a different paradigm where learning is independent, autonomous, and learner centric, collaborative and interactive. So here technology or ICT plays a great role. Now we let us discuss the what should a teacher trainee or a teacher trainee who is undergoing teacher education program, what does he have to do in order to really benefit from ICT? Perhaps he has to learn how to use technology. I think perhaps you will highlight on that. What type of technology he should learn so that he can benefit from this ICT?
Well, first of all, there is the necessity to how to use technology to learn. But before we take up this question, we would also like to dwell upon the importance, that why is it so important to utilize technology or to harness the potential of technology, and rather not only using it but to integrating it. You see, as per a UNESCO document, it says that integration of technology is equivalent to informatization of education, which is an essential condition, component and catalyst for modernization of education. So we say that when we talk about the modernization of education, when we really want to modernize education, then we need to integrate technology. Why? Because this is being equated to informatization of education, and this is the catalyst that would modernize education. Now, apart from that, technology infusion into the curricular pedagogy. For instance, today we use media, but is media only for imparting information? No, it is not so. Media does not merely impart information, but it also deepens and widens the experiences of a learner. Now, in this regard, I would like to request Dr. Das to explain this concept, that how media could widen and deepen the experiences of a learner instead of just passing on the information.
When we talk of media, now we have a host of media. It's a long list of media, and if they are considered really for teaching learning context, and a learner who is restricted in observing learning experiences from a single teacher, and who was considered that the perhaps storehouse of knowledge, he is no more the only storehouse of knowledge. So learning experiences earlier, what a learner was receiving was restricted. They are very restricted. Now it has really widened. A learner, apart from receiving learning experiences from his teacher, he can get experiences from television. Every day he can get wide experiences from television, related experiences related to science, technology, social sciences, and many other things. Even he can also get information from radio, computer, and internet. Internet is really a great ocean of information, and if the learner is hooked to internet and really browse through and search through, perhaps he can get wide experiences, learning experiences. So that this technology has really rather deepened, widened the base of information, which was earlier restricted to only it was only restricted to classroom teacher. So that way educational ICT has widened and broadened the base of information or the knowledge base. So that perhaps that is the concept what you mean to say. Now what do you think about that reproductive versus independent model of learning, which was facilitated by this ICT?
Well, initially we had the reproductive model of learning, and about that we have just discussed that the teacher would come and deliver a lecture, the student would take down notes and also use the textbook or some other books, and after that the notes would be crammed or not even crammed, they may not be crammed, they may just be understood, and those very same things would be reproduced in the examination. So we say that this was a kind of reproducive model, where from the teacher the learner would take up something and again the same thing would be dished out. So that was the reproductive model. But now we have the independent model of learning, and here we have the concept of constructivism, where the learner is an independent learner. It is not that if the teacher teaches just 3 things, for instance, the teacher presents 3 ideas on a concept, it is not that the student would learn only those 3 ideas. The student may have ideas of his or her own, which he happened to get from the technology mediated education. So we see that now we have a constructivist, or rather an independent model of learning, and I think Dr. Das would be able to explain this better.
That's true, that earlier the concept was perhaps that concept of reproductive or reductionist mechanistic approach of considering educational process or educational activity is not gaining ground nowadays. That people, the thinkers, they are perhaps coming to a different kind of understanding, that from a reductionist, reproductive or mechanistic approach to education, there is a need of constructive or constructionist approach to education. If the learner is no more just a receiver from a particular fountainhead, he has to create his own knowledge, he has to interpret his knowledge, he has to give new meaning to his knowledge. So that's why he is basically a creator of knowledge than a receiver of knowledge. This is the situation which is emerging in educational thinking, and if we consider this situation, then perhaps we have to think that how educational technology or ICT will help a learner to go ahead in this direction. And as we say that ICT or information technology is a big storehouse of knowledge, is a big ocean of knowledge, and when a learner is interacting, or a teacher educator or teacher trainee is interacting with this big ocean of knowledge, he can really get access to wide varieties of knowledge that is there in information technology, and he can find out meaning, locate and evaluate, select, collect, analyze, and conclude, interpret the information as they exist in the big ocean of information in IT, and create meaning for himself or herself. So basically, from reduction or reproduction, the knowledge model or the learning model is coming to an independent, creative and constructive. So this is the scenario which is fast emerging, and to that extent ICT plays a great role. And since ICT contains vast ocean of information, so a learner will be in a position to really create meaning for himself or herself. Now we come to the teacher's role. That is very important when we talk of application of ICT in teacher training program or education. The first thing that a teacher has to do, manage technological resources. That is the most important aspect, that a teacher has a lot of technological resources at his disposal. If you look at a school teacher, nowadays a school is equipped with all latest technology, computer, then internet, LCD projector, OSP, then all latest technology. So how to manage these technological resources, that perhaps a teacher trainee ought to learn. Then, given a variety of technology, how can a teacher choose which is the best technology? There are so many factors. For example, the first factor we can say that the very content that he has to teach, and what are his objectives of teaching. The first is the content, the second is content objectives, then his own strength of using technology, learner's background. So these are certain primary considerations that a teacher ought to know while selecting a particular technology. Apart from that, a technology has its own strengths and weaknesses. Certain technologies, they are more appropriate to achieve cognitive objectives. There are other kinds of technology which are appropriate to achieve affective objectives, and still others which are helpful in promoting psychomotor learning. So these are the strengths and weaknesses of technologies. Then there are certain economic factors. When we talk about economic factors, that means the cost of technology. As we have said, technology ranges from simple chalkboard to latest technology like internet, etc., and computer conferencing, teleconferencing. But for a given learning task, which technology is more cost effective, that teacher has to take decision. Then availability. Certain times technologies, they are available in a particular context. For example, in school context, certain kinds of IC, information communication technologies, they may be available with the school. But simply availability doesn't mean anything unless these technologies, they are accessible to the users. Suppose a teacher wants to make use of LCD projector while teaching his students for a particular subject area, says some kind of concept in human heart. If the teacher wants to show the picture of a heart through LCD projector, but the projector is in the shape in principal's office or in ET education technology room, but it is not accessible. The teacher is not allowed to use that technology. So it doesn't have any meaning. So availability, accessibility, they are most important factors of using selecting a particular technology. Then the technology must be user friendly, that the learner or the user who wants to use technology doesn't find any difficulty in using the technology, and it must be interactive. So the learner who is using the technology should find the element of interaction between him and the technology. So that one does find while using latest computers, they are very friendly as well as they are very interactive. Then while making use of ICT or any kind of information based technology, the teacher has to evaluate the appropriateness and authenticity of information. If he is taking some information from internet, he has to evaluate whether the information is appropriate for the context he is going to use, and authenticity, whether it is authentic material, whether it has certain authenticity built in it. So these questions the teacher has to ask before selecting some information from technology. Then the teacher should also know how he can use ICT for collaborative learning. So as we have already said, ICT really provides for a good platform for collaborative learning. With this computer conferencing, teleconferencing, or audio conferencing, video conferencing, these all types of conferencing facility helps the learner, though located at different geographical space, but still then they are connected, they are linked with each other, and they can collaborate, they can interact with each other, and they can really build a good learning environment. So the teacher has to identify and make use of ICT for collaborative learning. Then nowadays, as you know, that in school or college or university, we are faced with a lot of evaluation related activities, and this ICT plays a great role in different kinds of evaluation activities like conducting entrance test, evaluating the student performance in entrance test. This OMR, optical mark reader, this is a very fantastic machine which helps in bringing out result so fast. Similarly, storing information running into millions. So computer really is a marvelous machine, and even retrieval of information related to different kinds of evaluation activities is possible through computer. So basically what we are talking of, that ICT has a lot of potentiality which the teacher has to know so that he can really integrate in teaching learning process. And about certain ethical issues that when we make use of ICT resources, what sort of ethical issues we should keep in mind, that perhaps Dr. Sutapa you can talk about?
Yes, for instance, there are, today you see we often browse the World Wide Web whenever we are seeking information on a particular topic, and there are a number of disputes regarding the source of information, that it has been copied by someone else, and we often find that there are strict instructions regarding the copyright. So as a teacher, it is our responsibility to instruct our students about these ethical issues, that particular information, the source has to be acknowledged, and whether it is ethical to just copy down the information and paste it as our own, or to seek written permission from the author or from the source or the website owners. So there are certain aspects, otherwise the students or even the educational institution could land up in serious problem. Therefore, from the very beginning, it is essential for the students as well as the teacher trainees to know that the information that is provided on the internet, that may be free or may not be free, that it may not be permissible to just copy it down. So these are some of the issues that are related to copyrights or ethical issues, we could say. And also the teacher has to keep an eye on the student, that is what sort of sites he or she is visiting, whether it is suitable as per the age of the student, and there are several other ethical considerations. So we could gather from this that there are basically two things that a teacher trainee has to learn. First of all, how to that is learning how to use the technology, whether it is just the computer, word processing skills, or computing, other computing skills, or browsing the internet, or World Wide Web, or using the facilities of the internet. So there are certain skills as to it, and during the teacher training, a teacher would be in a better position if he or she equips himself or herself with these skills, that is how to use the technology, not only operating the computers and the internet, but also how to prepare softwares. And today we also have online learning, web-based learning. So it would be better at least to have an idea about these things, because you see that today web-based learning is very common, and the teacher also may be required to prepare certain material for online learning, and then how to prepare multimedia packages, that is how to prepare the softwares for these things. So these sort of training or activities during the teacher training program would be very helpful. So this is one part, that is how to use technology. Now the second part, about which Dr. Das has already discussed, is using technology to learn. And in this we have already heard from him how to use technology for evaluation, how to use technology for collaborative learning, and there are other activities also, for instance how to locate the sources of information, then how to evaluate their authenticity, be aware about issues pertaining to copyright, and so on. So we see that as a would-be teacher, any person has the responsibility of two basic things: learning to use technology and using technology as a tool for learning.
One part which is more important for all teachers, that learning different kinds of technological uses, then using the knowledge of technology for further improvement of classroom teaching process. In this context, it's very important that a teacher must make use of technology in classroom instruction. Now what is happening that that a teacher feels more comfortable with this chalkboard method, perhaps the earlier book-based method. Now with the availability of all kinds of technology, perhaps the classroom can be made a smart classroom. The concept is now prevalent in most progressive schools and even Navodaya Vidyalaya schools. The smart classroom concept is that in this classroom one can find all technological facilities, right from your chalkboard, whiteboard, then OHP, overhead projector, LCD projector, computer, of course if possible a TV monitor, then a radio. All these technological gadgets, they can be placed right in the classroom, and the teacher must make use of all these technological gadgets whenever they are required and wherever they are required. So basic concept is that this technology strengthens the teaching learning process. They facilitates. For example, earlier a teacher has to write, he had to write whatever is there on the blackboard. While doing that, perhaps the teacher was consuming a lot of time, and that time can be saved if the teacher comes to the classroom with a good PowerPoint presentation. So that PowerPoint presentation can be made beforehand, and the teacher comes with that PowerPoint presentation, and with the help of computer and LCD projector, the teacher can teach. There are one or two things here more important in the context of effective classroom teaching, that when a teacher presents his teaching with the help of PowerPoint, not only it saves time, but also it gives powerful effect to the teaching, that students, they are attracted to the teaching learning process. Even the difficult animated diagrams can be done and they can be presented. The students, they can feel certain effects. These effects, they can be built into the presentation. So basically, even the internet facilities may be right now, may be right there in the classroom, and the learner can benefit from direct access to different sources in internet. So basically, technological application has wonderful effect in classroom processes. Now, if we can conclude our presentation that how ICT is important, that it's important in the context of teaching learning as well as teacher training program. So teacher training program, which was earlier mainly based on providing knowledge, teacher oriented knowledge, now we have to shift from that base to a different kind of environment where ICT is used more by the teacher in classroom teaching learning processes. So teacher training program or the present curriculum for teachers must not be based on traditional classroom approach, but must be based on constructive classroom approach and ICT based approach. So I think you can sum up.
So Dr. Das has very rightly pointed out that there is a need to first of all bring about a change in the attitude, and during teacher training program itself this has to be achieved, so that the teacher later on does not find difficult the task of integrating technology in the process of teaching. Thank you very much, Dr. Das.
Yeah.
Thank you.